This is Dr. Hobbolt, and I'm going to help you with this problem. In this problem, we're looking at finding some coordinates of different points in the plane. So first, let's actually write down some notes in our notebook. So when we have coordinates, they come as an ordered pair. So for instance, the point 2, 0, let's just look at that. 2, 0 means an x-coordinate of 2 and a y-coordinate of 0. So x-coordinate, that's going to be on the x-axis, or it's along the x-axis, which goes side to side. Or you could say left to right. So really the x-coordinate tells us how far to the left or right a point is. So the x-coordinate tells us how far left or right the point is. If the x-coordinate is positive, then it's going to the right. If it's negative, it's going to the left. So on the other hand, the y-coordinate is, and we could use some bullet points here, the y-coordinate is along the y-axis. And that y-axis goes up and down. So the y-coordinate tells us how far up or down the point is. So again, that x-coordinate comes first, and the y-coordinate comes second. And that's every single time. So now, pause the video, make sure you have these notes down in your notebook, and then let's go through and look at these points. So it says, what are the coordinates of point A? Now be careful here, because your options for where the point is, those are going to be in a different order. So you can't just rely on the order here. Like if I pick the third one, you wouldn't necessarily also pick the third one. You have to read the points. So, what are the coordinates of point A? So let's find point A on the graph. Here it is. So to get the x-coordinate, we need to figure out how far to the left or right the point is. So how far is it going left to right? So point A, we can see it's 2 coordinates to the right. It has an x-coordinate of 2. Whereas if it were negative 2, we would go to the left of that y-axis. But here, we have an x-coordinate of 2. So I'm just going to take some notes. X-coordinate of 2. And what's the y-coordinate? How far up or down is it from the axis? Well, it's actually, if we look at how far vertically it is, it's actually nothing, right? Because it's not up 1 like this, or up 2, up 3. It has really no vertical, almost displacement. I don't know if that's the right word to use here. But regardless, the y-coordinate is 0, because it's not up or down at all. It's right there at 0. So the point would be 2, 0. So in my list, I would actually select this first one. Now let's look at what are the coordinates of point D. So let's find point D, and I'll highlight it. It's right here. So first, let's figure out what's its x-coordinate. And this is a good routine. When you're trying to figure out the coordinates of points, try to be kind of methodical and think, okay, x-coordinate, y-coordinate, because then you're more likely to get that order right. People mess this up all the time. They get them sort of flip-flopped. So the x-coordinate, how far left or right is it? Well, it's not left or right at all. It actually just was at 0 and stayed there. So the x-coordinate is 0. And what is the y-coordinate? Well, it's down 2 from that axis, so we would say the y-coordinate is -2. So the point would be at 0, -2. So I would select this option, but make sure you read your list carefully. Now let's look at what are the coordinates of point F. So I'm going to find point F. Let me erase some stuff on here. Here's point F. What's the x-coordinate for point F? Well, its x-coordinate is 1, right there. So the x-coordinate is 1. And I've also seen people sometimes use like a dashed line to try and do this. You might be able to use a sheet of paper on your Chromebook screen or something to try and help you nail down where the point is, but I've seen people use that strategy before. So the x value is 1, and what's the y-coordinate? The y-coordinate is -4. So the points, the coordinates are 1, -4. So find that in your list. Make sure you read them carefully. In my list is the second option. So you'll get some more practice on this on the next slide, and then you'll actually have a mastery check over coordinates.